Hey, hi, hello again. It's me, Amy the Baker, back with another video. And to any and all outraged by the title of this video, I'm Canadian, so Trump is quite literally not my president, and you just got clickbaited, so click off.
And now we will carry on with our regularly scheduled program.
I don't know why that was so hard for me to say, but I'm not saying it again. I've already said it 3 times. I was indirectly gifted with this big bag of apples, so I figured let's make a pie. They've been in my fridge for a little while and I really got to start using them up. I do eat them, apples are delicious, but I'm not eating them fast enough, so apple pie it is.
What pot do I want to use?
When I do apple pie, I like doing a pre-cooked filling. It kind of just guarantees more consistency. And the flavor of it, the cook of it,
Yada 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 yada.
so that's why I like doing that. I usually just wing it, but I actually found a recipe online, so we're gonna follow that today. I need the zest from this. I don't normally add the zest from the lemon. I just do a little bit of lemon juice while I'm slicing the apples so they don't brown. Granted, you cook them anyway, so they get brown, but I don't know. I'm just weird. This recipe called for the zest, and I think it'll be a nice little added kick to it. Based on the title of this video, you know that I want to talk about the Trump presidency and how I think he's an absolute clown. I'm very curious as to what my core audience thinks about him, if they like him, if they don't like him. As a Canadian, some of his policies are obviously stupid, like tariffs. I still don't think he understands what a tariff is, because even in his inaugural speech, he's like, we're gonna take the burden off the American citizens and put it on the foreigners, and da-da. I'm like, that's not how a tariff works. To me, the conspiracy theorist in my head says it is very intentional that they're misleading the American public who has strong trust in him about tariffs, so then they can collect all that money and launder it for themselves. Which, I mean, is a conspiracy, but is it unlikely? I don't know. I do know. It's not unlikely. I have this poem idea that's been in my head for a long time now. The poem title is oxymoronic, so I want to play with oxymorons in the poem, and one of the ones I have written down currently is honest politician. Even my dad, who's right-leaning, Fox News listening, Trump supporting kind of person, has always said since I was a kid that there's no such thing as an honest politician. It's very funny with my dad because on actual policy issue, we actually agree more than we disagree. But because he listens to a lot of inflammatory media, if you say anything against the guy that he likes, it's, well, the guy that you like. And I'm like, I don't like that guy either. I actually don't like any of them. I think the whole system should burn to the ground. These are sweet. I think they're local apples, actually. I got them from my work because they were gifted by the farm that we buy produce from. Yeah, what else do I think about Trump? Nothing good. The only thing he really cares about is money and power, which is a dangerous thing to care about when you are the leader of a nation. A struggling nation at that. I love apples. I haven't made the pie dough yet. I'm debating between doing like a classic lattice on top or just like a sheet of pie dough with little holes in the center. Depends on when I do it and what kind of energy I have for it. Did you guys see the Elon Musk Roman salute? I don't really care what anybody wants to think about it. If they think it was intentional, not intentional. If they think it was that, what all of our eyes can very clearly show what it is, or they think it wasn't, he was just throwing his heart to the crowd. Bullshit. But at the end of the day, it came across the way it came across, and no amount of blaming autism or excitement or this, that, or the other is going to change the fact that a very large amount of people saw it for what it was, and he has not responded accordingly. I'm sorry, but if an influencer or someone of the like did something like that and responded the way that Elon Musk is responding, there would not be as much support. He didn't even apologize. Again, bringing it back to the fact that so many people are blaming it on his autism. I don't care if you're autistic. I'm most likely autistic. It doesn't mean you just don't know right from wrong. It doesn't mean that even if you make a mistake in the heat of a moment, that you can't look back and see it for how it was perceived, because intention and perception are 2 different things. Okay, everybody? Let's take a step back. Intention and perception, 2 very different things. And the very least that he could do is say, yeah, I messed up. But is he going to say that? No. He's going to rely on his little keyboard warriors on the app that he bought and he engineers to be biased towards him, to defend him, and he'll wait until it blows over. But if you know anything about Elon Musk and his actual views on genetic purism, he has 11 children, you would know that the eugenics beliefs that he very much has are not well hidden at all. But that's just my opinion. What's yours? Do you like Elon Musk? If you like Elon Musk, you probably won't like me. So, bye! I am curious about how these first few weeks and months of the Trump presidency is going to affect the Canadian election, which will be coming up here relatively soon. It got delayed because of Trudeau's resignation, which I think was intentional. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy that Trudeau resigned, despite voting for him and meeting him at my work during his second campaign, the campaign I didn't actually vote for him in. Do I wish the NDP could win? Yeah, but Canada is still too racist. The NDP would only stand a chance if Jagmeet stepped down, unfortunately. Bubby just woke up. What time are we at? 1. I'll be right back. Hello again. I'm gonna try to continue doing this, but we might have to call it a quits. I will warn you. You just want one of these? I need to film this video today because it's already Wednesday. I'm not mad, but I'm just disappointed because I was so close to starting to get actually ahead on videos. And then he got sick. We think he got salmonella. There was a huge recall on eggs and he loves playing with the egg cartons. Yesterday was the end of it. He had a last bout of the poopies. He was always in good spirits other than being mildly lethargic when his fever was running. You like the skin? Whatever entertains him. I know you're not supposed to give apples to kids this size, but he's actually pretty good. I don't obviously give him an apple and just let him roam around. I usually either slice it thin or let him take bites off of an apple when I'm eating it. Where was I? Talking about politics, Canadian politics. Does anyone care about Canadian politics? I guess I could go back to some of my opinions on Trump. How much I don't respect that man. I don't blame anybody for voting for him, and I do understand the reasoning for voting for him, actually. Juicy. Trump is just a ridiculous man who is not a good businessman at all. If you know anything about his businesses, they have failed often. And the one thing he has going for him is his perseverance, I suppose, and the fact that he has a lot of connections in the world of wealth. Because despite what the American dream wants to tell you, it's not anybody from any position can work their way up. You have a leg up if you're born into that world. There's even the classic, oh, I started my business with a small loan of $1 million. $1 million would change most people's lives.
He's really going to town on that apple.
Oh, you got a pen? Cool. But to make things crystal clear, Trump is not my president. And as much as he wants to absorb Canada, that's not going to happen without an invasion. And that wouldn't happen at least for a few years. I don't know if you know this, Trump. Canada actually has a very good track record of destroying Americans in war. We're not afraid to burn down the White House again. That was all a joke, obviously. Oh my god. I just realized he's biting all the skin pieces off and then spitting them out onto the floor like a little fucking gerbil. You're hilarious, Leon. See, now what I really need to do is raise him to be a politician, and then he can become prime minister and implement my lifelong dream of there being a cross-country high-speed train in Canada.
To revolutionize us.
And it would revolutionize Canada in the same way, if not in a greater way, than putting the original CP rail coast to coast did back in the 1800s, whenever they did that, early 1900s. Because that was a time where we weren't sure as a nation. The biggest reason BC, where I live, joined the rest of Canada was the promise of the CP rail. And in building that CP rail, it connected a disconnected country and made Canada what it is today. Did we kill a lot of Asian people in the construction of the railway by blasting the mountains and not being safe about it at all? Yes. Do most Canadians know that? Probably not. Canada has a horrible, horrible history when it comes to minorities in this country. Yeah, I just fucking tore that with my nail. I'm not super proud of that aspect of our history. Overall, I do feel connected to the land, the beauty of this land, the community of our people. Even if it does not feel safe or secure at the moment. I do know if push came to shove, my community here in the town that I live in would come together and support each other and be there for each other, regardless of race or gender identity or anything else that has people in a tizzy these days.
Doing a little spin like a little ballerina.
At the end of the day, we all have to share this tiny blue dot flying through space at ungodly speeds. I feel like this video is very disjointed, and I'm sorry, I definitely wasn't in the best mindset to film, but I needed to film something, and I needed to make apple pie. So here I am, and here I'll stay with you on this dreary day. You're so cute. You want mommy have a bite? We are definitely at a point in history where if we can make it out alive, teenagers in their high school history class will be saying, how did they let this happen? Well, that's another thing I was thinking about actually. In the modern era, it's hard to revel in the ingenious of new technology. Think about the possibilities for innovation that will come with the new technology, because the immediate thought for anybody who knows anything is, how will this be used for war? And a lot of times this new technology was specifically invented for war. Ooh, this one has a big soft spot.
Yuck. Yuck.
I can't let him walk around by himself with that apple. Hi. I actually think I have enough footage to make it through. So I'm gonna cook this. I'll link the recipe below. I'm just using my pie dough recipe, but the recipe that I'm following for the filling has a pie dough recipe that has buttermilk instead of water, and I thought that was interesting. So if anybody tries that out, let me know. Mwah. Don't you worry, don't you fret. This video is not over yet. I, Amy the Baker, will be back for a taste test right now. I'm back and I have apple pie. I have to be quick because Leon could be up at any moment, and also I wasn't even going to film the taste test right now because my friend came over, but then he had to leave to go be with his daughter. I mean, understandably. Anyways, let's take a bite. Ooh, that's a big one. It's so good. Best apple pie I've ever made. Granted, I've only made like 3 apple pies in my life, but best one. And I was so worried about the pie dough because I was doing a smaller batch, so I did it by hand, and it was giving me hell, but the butter. Butter's expensive, so I couldn't make a new batch. I was like, I just have to use this, and then it turned out good, so I'm happy about that. I could have baked it longer, but I was being impatient because Bubby was so fussy and I wanted to go over to my mom's. I did end up adding about a 1/4 cup more white sugar because it was quite tart. I think it helped make it perfect for my taste anyways. I'm just eating it cold. I was debating microwaving it, but I was like, I really don't have time. I tried to think more about what I wanted to say on the whole topic of Trump, and then I realized I don't want to say any more on it. I've had a whirlwind of a 48 hours, 24 hours, I don't know. Had to call emergency services for my friend who was going through a mental health crisis at 2:45 in the morning, so I did not get a lot of sleep last night. And then this morning we went and picked up this cat that we are rescuing. His name is Buttons, and he was cuddling me earlier. It was, oh my gosh, so kind of up and down. But part of the reason my friend is having a mental health crisis is because of the current state of politics, and I don't blame them. As a non-binary person, it's obviously not the easiest time to have an identity outside of the norm. I don't want to go into personal details about them, obviously, but they are a very near and dear friend, and it was scary. But at least I have pie. Trump is merely a symptom of the diseased democracy that we live in, not the cause. Unfortunately, his rhetoric makes the disease spread faster and kill more. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do to help fight, and it is easier to just bury your head in the sand. But my form of activism comes in the form of deeply loving those around me, deeply loving my fellow human. And that doesn't mean putting up with bigotry. They want to make us believe that there is no love or no worth in loving each other, unless the neighbors we're loving look exactly like us and have the same beliefs. And that is frankly just unrealistic for a world of 8 billion people. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hard to sit here and eat and enjoy this pie while talking about such heavy topics and having such a heavy heart. It feels very contradictory because this is so sweet with a hint of tart. It's very balanced. The topic at hand is sour and bitter and angry and unbalanced. I don't have the answers, and the only solutions I can think of is to build community. We are stronger together. Last bite. I'm putting my hair up. It's bothering me. On a funnier note, yesterday when I had first finished the pie and it was all cooled and ready to be cut, I was just sitting on the floor in the kitchen eating a piece, and Leon kept wandering back and forth grabbing handfuls, which was very cute, and it warmed my heart. that's going to conclude the rant and ramble session at the end of this video here. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you like the video. Comment down below any and all opinions you might have. I'm open to conversation even if we disagree. Subscribe if you haven't done that already, and hopefully, unless I've scared you away, I'll be seeing you guys again in the next one. Peace. Nice fart!